I had another quick question.
Yes.
For those final exam times, are we allowed to take them at either one of those times, or?
Yes, either one.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
I had one more question. So would the test be just posted on ReggieNet and we have to take it during that one of those times?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Go. All right. So who wants to start by calculating earned value? And if you remember last time, we created an orange box and we would write everything in the orange box. So some notes from me here. I'm gonna share with you that first of all, sorry about that, what is this? So earned value, the first thing is your planned value times percentage complete. So math is why not you go ahead and complete the first column, percentage complete. Okay, and here, please do not do anything with my keyboard because last time in the other section, I lost control of my keyboard. So Matt, you're gonna do the first column, earned value. So percentage complete, perfect. Exactly. Exactly. Can you do a total, please, Matt? $8,300, I believe. Thank you. All right, I'm gonna stop here. So Matt, what he did, multiply these two numbers and then it shows that this value. So again, we're gonna make sure this is highlighted as the answer. Cost variance, I'm gonna put the formula here for those of you who may not remember cost variance, and these formulas are good choices to appear on your cheat sheet because the exam is online, basically open book, but it takes time for you to find things. So have a note card, a note sheet in front of you. It's the difference between earned value and actual cost, what you have accomplished versus what you paid for that much accomplishment. So I'm gonna go to the first one on my list. Grant, go ahead, do the cost variance, please. Earned and actual, yes. Positive there. 0 there. Total of 400, thank you. That's positive, wow. Grant, go ahead, unmute yourself.
Right.
So negative numbers, what do they mean?
It means that it costs more than the earned value.
Exactly, so you paid more than what you got. It's over budget. Positive numbers, what does it mean?
That your budget is fine. You're under budget.
Exactly, you paid less and you accomplished more. You're under budget. And the total is saying something about this first month. Was it a good month in terms of money or no?
Yeah.
Exactly, because you're positive. Thank you, Grant. So I'm gonna highlight this again. This is what we did together. So if your classmates look at this in the future days, they know what we've done together. So schedule variance, if you don't remember, is the difference between what you had planned to accomplish and what you actually accomplished. So earned is what you have accomplished, planned was what you wanted to accomplish. So it tells you you're behind the schedule, but it doesn't tell you in terms of time. It's telling you the value of money of the work that hasn't been done. Value of the work. So the unit of measurement is dollars. That's why this specific measure can be confusing. Dalton, it's on you right now. Go ahead, do the schedule variance, please.
Okay. So it's so this one will be
Exactly. Earned it's 1,000 exactly.
and then
2,900 minus 4,000 minus 1,100. Oh, yes. No, you're right. I read the wrong numbers. That's 3,600. Yes.
and then this one would be
Minus 900.
yeah.
All right, Dalton, go ahead, answer this question. Task 1, is it ahead of schedule or behind schedule?
Behind.
What's the value of work that hasn't been completed yet?
What was that? Sorry.
The value of the work that's not completed yet.
So it looks like they're minus 400.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Can you answer one more question for me?
Yeah.
Is the project, can you give me a total?
Yeah, it'd be so that'd be negative 1,700 total, which means they're negative 1,700 short of what they planned.
Exactly. So this is the first month. You're behind the schedule as a team, but you, in terms of money, the things are not as bad. So you haven't overspent. Thank you, Dalton.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to the next column. And before we do that, again, highlighting this one as completed. And this is cost performance index. Our favorite measure is EV divided by AC. This doesn't have a unit. Therefore, you can use to compare projects, tasks. All right. So next one on my list is Nick R. Nick R, go ahead, do cost performance index, please. So earned, exactly. Just put 1.12. Yes, that's good. Yeah.
Well, it wouldn't round up, yeah.
Yes, you're right. $36 by 29. Good. All right, do the overall CPI, Nick. For overall CPI, you do the total EB divided by total AC. You want me to write that down and ask someone else? That's okay. Nick R, go ahead, unmute yourself. I'm gonna ask you a few questions.
Yep.
So what about task 1? What's happening there? Cost performance index 0.8.
So for what you've earned, you've like, hold on, I'm trying to remember how to word this correctly. Is it like you got 80 cents per dollar for what you did?
Exactly. So when the number is less than 1, keep in mind that you're over budget. It means that you're getting less. For $1 spent, you get 80 cents worth of work done. How about those two, task 2 and 3, they are over 1. What do the numbers say?
So basically for every dollar you spend, you actually get more than $1's worth of work. So for task 2, it's $1.11, and task 3, it's $1.24.
Perfect. Can you go ahead, please put for the overall CPI, put those two numbers that you used to come up with 105. So the students who check this worksheet later, they know where we got that from. So put the equal sign, these two numbers divided by, exactly. Exactly. You can enter so you can keep my, perfect. Thank you, Nick. So in terms of budget, are we getting more value for every dollar spent during the first month?
Yeah, we're getting $1.05 worth of value for every dollar we spend.
Thank you, Nick. That's great. So I'm gonna let someone else take it from here, and that's for schedule performance index. Some of you have noticed that parallel between SPI and the percentage complete. So SPI is EV divided by PV. Again, like CPI, it doesn't have any value. It doesn't have any unit of measurement attached to it, so you can use to compare different projects, different sprints, different people's performances. So I'm gonna go to the next one on my list, who is Austin. Austin, go ahead, do the calculation of SPI if you would.
Yep. There's 0.8. Put it 0 because he did. That would just be 1. 9.
7.
7.
Can you give us an overall as well?
Yeah, let me 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that'd be 10,000. Yeah, so that would be 10,000. Or wait, no. It'd be 8,300. Divided by 10. My bad. Which is a number that calculate real fast.
0.83.
0.83. Yeah, you're right. That should have been easy.
Thank you. That's good. So in terms of a schedule, what's happening here?
We are, I forgot how to word this one, but I think it's like for every dollar we spend, we are only doing like 0.83 like days worth of work done or something like that. I don't know. It's this one's weird.
It's all dollars. It's not talking about days. If for every dollar you had planned to accomplish, you accomplished 83 cents. Your plan was to accomplish $1. You accomplished less.
Yeah, that makes
Thank
sense.
you, Austin. You did very well. Along with your friends, you have completed this. I'm going to take control, put a quick note here, and do the styling. So this is the other part of the question that we did. Now, how much all the answers are here. in your table and you've answered those. If the problem observed in the first month persists, so that's the keyword. How much will the whole project cost? Show calculations and the steps. So if you remember, expected time to complete and estimate at completion. So ETC and EAC. So ETC would be cost from now till end, the total cost of the whole project. So what do we do if the problems persist? Let me see who can do that for us. I see. Chris is next. So Chris, why don't you go ahead do ETC for us? And maybe I should scroll up everything. Let me just scroll up these things so you can actually see those values that you need for your calculation. And I think that works. Let me know. This is a 50K project.
So to calculate ETC, you would just need to take
Exactly. 50K was the value of the whole project. They call it budget at completion. Then there is something that you have earned so far or you have achieved so far. That's 8,300. Yes, 8.3K. Perfect, that's what you have done so far. But the problems persist. So for every dollar of work, how much will you be spending? 1 over CPI. So times 1 over CPI or divided by CPI, whatever you want to say. Exactly. So someone can help Chris with calculation, please. Nick, or do you have a calculator?
I can grab one. Give me a minute.
I got it. I got it.
Okay, perfect. So for every dollar worth of work, actually, these are not problems. These are opportunities. So you, for every dollar of work left, you're gonna spend less. That's the number 0.95. And then ETC with EAC. Okay, yes, I see. Go ahead. $39. Yes. Perfect. Thank you, Chris. So if you look class, as Chris has done it, you have about 41.7K worth of work left, but you're going to spend less money on it. So a better word would be if the opportunities / problems persist, because this seems to be an opportunity. Things are being good for the project. Chris, can you do EAC as well?
Yeah, I should be able to.
Thank you.
So your EAC in this case would just be your ETC plus what you've already spent, right?
Exactly.
And then we've already spent 7.
47 point. Yes. Perfect. Thank you, Chris. Well done. So is this project going to be less expensive or more expensive for you?
It'll be less expensive
Exactly.
than originally planned.
Exactly. Thank you, Chris. Well done. So if you look at the calculation Chris has shared, this project is actually going to do better. And I'm going to put that problems/opportunities persist. And I'm going to just make this smaller so this one goes higher. So this was one example. Matt, do you have any questions? This was your suggestion.
No, I'm good. That covers it. Really, the part I needed to go over and to get like in my notes and in my head down was the ETC and EAC.
So did you understand the example we did here right now? Just
Yeah. My only thing would be like if EAC was more expensive, right? And then you gave us like an example of because I remember in one of them it's like if problems persist and then if problems disappear.
yes, so if the problem disappear, I'm gonna ask someone else to do that. Or here if the opportunities disappear. Scott hasn't been with us, so I'm gonna go to Ryan. Scott, I'll let you listen and then I'll ask you questions for later examples. So Ryan, go ahead, do the next scenario. If the opportunities disappear. If the opportunities, problems disappear. Go ahead, Ryan. Thank you. $50K is the value of the work you needed to accomplish. You have accomplished 8.3, and that's going to be 41.7. You can just put it on the same line. Equals to 41. So Matthew, here $1 left, $1 spent. So $1 worth of work is left to be done. You would need to just spend $1 on it. So that's the meaning of problems disappearing or opportunities disappearing. We don't multiply by 1/CPI anymore. So we just assume that for every $1 worth of work, we need to spend $1, and that's the amount. Oh, whatever happened, I hope it didn't lock my keyboard. EAC, Ryan. Can you write? Oh, thank goodness. There is something with my keyboard or Windows 10. Somebody does something and then I cannot control my keyboard. Anybody knows the problem? There is a setting that somebody just randomly clicks. I don't think it has happened in your class, but it happened twice in the other class section. So 41.7 is what you will need to spend from now till the end of the project, and you already spent 779. That's plus, Ryan, not minus.
Oh. Oops.
Because that's from now till the end. You've already spent some. That becomes 49. Yes. 0.6. Is that? So this project, thank you, Ryan, it ends up being less expensive anyways, because you are saving a lot of money during the first month. So it's still less than 50K. So we can go over one more example, Matt, if we had time at the end. I'm gonna move to another question. So I need suggestions from those of you who are here. What other question can we work on now? What part is confusing?
Could we talk about velocity?
Velocity. That's a word question I give you if this is what, this one. So let me change,
Yes.
change the numbers because we did the other one last time. So this is 6. Let's say this is 1.25. All right. So we're gonna give it to Chris to start talking about velocity. I'm gonna copy this. Gonna put it here. I'm gonna do this close to each other and move the rest of them a little down and let you do velocity for a given, let's say in a given unit of time. So you can calculate velocity for sprint, velocity for phase. This is velocity for iteration here. What is the velocity in here? Velocity for an iteration which equals to iteration, which equals to 10 working days. And then we want cycle time, average time takes to get a story out of your current phase, sprint, depends again, out of a given time boxed phase, iteration, so on. Here you want cycle time for 10, cycle time for your sprint, or yeah, I think that's clear. I don't need to add anything. So I'm gonna give it to Chris because this is his suggestion. Let's see if he can just answer this cold call.
Sorry, I was trying to unmute myself. I believe your velocity is equal to your stories per day over how many working days. So it's like 1.25 in this case over 10.
So no, this is taking you 2.5 per story. So that's how much you, on average, you would spend on a given story. If you had 10 days, how many of those stories can you get done in 10 days?
You just multiply it together, right?
10 divided. You have 10 working days. How many of these work units can you fit into 10 days? And work units are 1.25. Eight. Well done, Chris. Do the next time. Do the next one as well.
I don't know how to do it.
So you're getting 6 stories done in 10 days. If you wanted to average out, how much time do you think you spent on a given story? No, 10 days for 6 stories. How many days for a single story? 10 divided by 6. 10 is for all of them. If you want to get for one, $1.6 exactly. So that's average cycle time, days per story. Perfect. As you written up above, this is cycle time. That's days per story. Perfect. So I think this is simple, but it can be confusing. Simple and confusing at the same time. It's so easy, you don't believe it's the answer. It's what you're thinking it is. We can work on more examples later, Chris. I'm waiting for one more suggestion. What else do we work on? It's your time, class. Make sure you want to talk about things that are confusing for you. You want to do the weighted shortest job first? I'll just change the numbers here. Anybody is interested in doing this? No? Waiting for suggestion. Nico, what do you think? Nico? I'm gonna look at the chat. I think I'm good on most of the short answer topics. Perfect. So going down the line, Scott, have you looked at some of the exam review sessions I posted on ReggieNet?
I have not. Like you said, I wasn't here for a few weeks, but I'm going to look over it, and if I have questions, I'll definitely reach out.
Sure. Make sure you look at least one older exam.
Yes,
Maybe
of course.
The most recent one. Matt, what do you think? What do we work on right now?
Let me look through my
I'll let you go through. Chris, any other suggestions?
Nope.
Nick, any other suggestions?
I'm good on most things. The only thing that I think might be beneficial would, like you pointed out, the weighted shortest job first.
Okay, let's do it. I changed the numbers from what you saw last time. So 6, 12, and 4. I don't like this. 6, 6, 6. Let's see. I hope it's different. So go ahead, Nick. Why don't you get started on this? And then we'll pass the torch to someone else. So you're just gonna calculate weights and give us an ideal sequence for completing activities to minimize cost of delay. Note that WIP limit is 1. So I will leave you with this, give you a minute to complete it, and we're gonna do the table of cost as we did it last time. I have to go get the table or just create it here. Just gonna put this up here. Let's see if I have a space that I can use to, no, probably I can't do everything on this page. So go ahead, Nick, you suggested this one might be useful. So I'll let you do the first part, calculate weights. So put A, colon, B, colon, C, colon. The opposite, cost of delay divided by. Oh no, don't do anything there. Nick, whatever you're doing, don't do it. Just press escape. That's when I lose control of my keyboard. Did we lose control of keyboard? Are you able to write? Yes. So go ahead, do the weights, Nick. 2.5. Oh, I don't like this. Let me change the numbers. I don't like that they have, so I'm gonna keep this 9. Go ahead. Because I don't wanna get into tie issue. It's not, it doesn't have any value for us. Perfect. So what would be the ideal sequence? The higher the weight, the higher the priority. So you would do C first, then A, then B. Exactly. That's great, Nick. Well done. Now we're gonna, with the help of 2 other classmates of yours, we're gonna compare this one and some other things. So what will be the total cost following sequences? So CAB, and we're gonna do BCA, BAC. So we're gonna compare these 2, cost of delay, and we are going to have a table. I think the table should have 4 or 5 rows, 1, 2, 3, 1 space, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So tasks A, or is the first sequence CAB, and we're gonna put wait time here. We're gonna put cost of delay, keep this one empty, and do the same for the other sequence. So I'm gonna keep this one empty. This is going to be a total for this one. This is going to be a total for this one. All right, I'm gonna share this one with, everybody has talked. Nico, you haven't done any activities, so go ahead, do the wait time, cost of delay for the first sequence. Zero A is waiting for 3 days. B is waiting for A and C, a total of 7 days. Perfect. Cost of delay for C would be 0. Cost of delay for A would be 3 times 10. Cost of delay for B would be 7 times 9, 36. And a total of 66 here. Just put it on the left, yes. put total cost before it. You can't write. That's okay. Oh, you can write. Good job. Thank you, Nico. And I'll see what you told me in the chat. Oh, thank you. Somebody told me the miscalculation. This is 63. Thank you. And 93. Thank you. Nico noticed that we calculated one of our numbers. Thank you, Grant. Thank you, Nico. Well done. Now I'm gonna go to the start of my list again. Grant, it's you. Go ahead, do that for BAC. Six for A. And you are, okay, that's okay. So 6, this is for CAB. So I'm confused. I'm gonna stop you, Grant. And
I don't know what the order is.
That's okay. I'm gonna put that for you and then you can take it from there. So this was CAB, the first one. This is BAC. So I feel like you have the numbers, just BA. We're just gonna move it to the,
Yeah, you're right.
we're just gonna move things to the right. If that's okay with you, you're gonna put the numbers again. So B is waiting 0 days. A is waiting for B, that's 6 days. 0, 6, yeah, same numbers, we just scoot them to the right. 10, C is waiting for A and B, 10. So B is going to be 0, A would be 6 times 10, that's 60. C is going to be 10 times 9, that's going to be 90. The total would be 150. Thank you. It's okay. All right, thank you, Grant. Thank you, Nico. You all did well. This is what we wanted to have. Just to confirm that the order which Nick gave us is actually the one that minimizes the cost. That's 93, and a random order here, 150. I could pick another random order for you on the exam. So this one, which one is preferred, you would just refer to the weights and calculation of weights. So I'm waiting for suggestion. What question do we go to next? So we did earned value. We did weighted shortest job first. Maybe I should highlight the whole table and then put this one in another color and make it a little smaller. No, that's good. So everybody remembers how we did this one? Yes? Who wants to explain it again? Let's go to Dalton. Do you remember this, Dalton? We did that last time.
Yeah, this just shows the differences between.
Go ahead, fill out the table.
Oh, I don't know if I remember how to fill out the table, but I know how to explain the graph.
Okay, no, you have you can fill out the table. Try. I've given you the words, but I'm not going to give you the words on your exam. Just put that on your cheat sheet. But look at the left. Explain it, Dalton.
So in A, I'm just like explaining what it is.
Go ahead. What is A? Look at the A. Is the difference between
It's the
what
difference between actual, so
and what?
difference between actual cost and earned.
Okay, what is that? What's the label?
Oh,
Actual and earned, what's the difference?
are we using the numbers we just used?
No, here, look at the left of the table. You see three phrases. Do you see them on the left?
Oh, difference between actual and earned is,
Is it cost?
that's cost variance.
Exactly. B, what is B?
That's the difference between plan and earned value, which is schedule variance.
Mm-hmm.
And then C is, I can't tell.
There is a choice for you there. So C is telling
So
you
it'd be behind time, but I can't, what is that? What's C representing?
just behind time in terms of time. So because the schedule variance is not time, let me get control.
Oh, okay. I see now.
Because see, you're at point T2, and this is how much you have achieved.
Okay.
But the graph is saying that for this much to be achieved, you should have done that at point T1. So T2 minus T1 is actually how much you're behind time. But the unit of measurement is time, it's not dollar, like a schedule variance.
Okay.
So this one is done. Let's do this one, class. I think, oh no, I don't want that. Let's do this one. Now that we are covering all from the top, let's get one of these boxes. Put the box here. And I remember telling you about first step and the second step. Who is ready to do this from the beginning to the end? Let me ask Austin, are you ready to do this from beginning to the end? Are you here, Austin? Or he left? I think he left. Ryan, are you ready to do it from beginning to the end? Yes? Can you unmute and talk?
For velocity?
Are you able to do it?
Let's see. I don't remember this one now.
Here, let's try to do it. Keep yourself on mute so we can talk. So the first step is to look at the history of your team and get the average of what they can achieve, and that's the velocity story points per sprint. So you have information about 4 of the previous sprints and you know how much they can do. How much can they do on average? Let's do an average first, Ryan. Do you have control of my system?
Yep.
So 4 sprints added together divided by 4. Put parentheses around these numbers. And that's going to be 22, 34, 44 divided by 4 is 11. 11.
Oh, 11.
And the second step, what do? You pick items from the top of your backlog. Then make sure you don't over you don't go over the capacity of your team. So pick your stories, go back to the table. So I'm gonna fill that part out. So you go to the table and pick stories for us.
Just randomly, or it doesn't matter which one?
No, it's not random. That's the point. It should take from the top of the list because the backlog is prioritized. Item at the top of the list have highest priority. So start from top of the list.
Do I write the user story or the story point?
So I'm gonna ask you to tell me and I'll do that. This is the story points and this is the story points. So you get story 1. How many points?
4.
Exactly. Can you add story 2?
Just 1.
Exactly. That becomes 5. You add story 3. How much that is?
10.
Can you pick 4 or is that too much?
That's too much.
Then you're gonna skip 4 and go to 5. So you're gonna pick from the top of your backlog, making sure you won't go over average, you won't go over capacity. And that's how you get the stories 1, 2, 3, and 5. Thank you, Ryan. You did very well. So this is one. This one we did. What else do we have? Berendon, we did this last time. Anybody wants to do it again? Anybody has doubt about this? Matt?
I can do that one for you if you'd like. But for the short answer ones, I think I'm pretty much good.
So you're good with the other ones?
Yeah.
You're good with this one? Do you want to do it one more time for Scott? He's new. So I'm going to give you those boxes to put around.
For sure.
So we will do that one more time for Scott. What is this one? Which one of them did we use? This one. Box number 1. And then 2 more, I think, or 1 more. 2. Okay, go ahead, show me. Not the first one, the second example of these things that you see. Matthew, I'm gonna give you control. So explain that as if it's the first time we're doing it because Scott is new here for the exam review. So circle a time frame or put a box around the time frame where the team is going slower.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to select that box and it's not coming up. But so looking at the chart here, you have the dashed line, which is your ideal time, and then the solid line is the line of actual progress that has been made over the project's lifespan. And so for the one where you're going slower than the ideal would be, month or day 1, between day 1 and day 2, right here, this time frame.
Day 1, yes.
Yeah, and you can look at it just based on the slope of the line. So this is a less steep slope than the ideal time, which is just straight linear.
Exactly. Where does the team go faster?
The team would go faster between day 7 or days or weeks, however you want to think of it. But yeah, so between day 7, 8, or you could even say 8 and 9, and 9 and 10 as well.
Perfect. During this whole time, is the team behind or ahead of a schedule? I'm asking you, Matt.
They are, I would say they're behind schedule.
Why is that so?
Because they are above the ideal line, the ideal timeline.
Exactly. So here, any questions from the class? So this was 2, this was 1, and they are behind. I'm gonna highlight that. Thank you, Matt. Let's see, we did that. Who wants to do this again? Let's do this so we have a complete set. For sure, I'm gonna get a box. And I think some of you were surprised with this question. It's easy, but it didn't come across as easy as I was hoping it would. So I'm gonna do that and tell some of you to complete this. And this is it's supposed to be easy. Let's see it is easy right now or no. Let's go, Chris, Matthew, Scott, Ryan, Nico. What did we do for this one? Using planning poker game, a team uses numbers from Fibonacci sequence to show relative complexities of each user story. The following user stories have been sized: A, B, C, D, and their story points. E is more complex than all of them. What number would you give to E? Nico?
So if I remember correctly, Fibonacci sequences, their next number would be 8 after 5, right?
Exactly.
So then you would just give E 8 points because it's harder than the other ones.
Exactly. So it should be, thank you, Nico, well done. So it should be a larger number than the ones before. And if you're using Fibonacci sequence, then a number is the sum of the two numbers before it. So it would be 8. And if you tell me 13, that would be fine as well. So Scott, note that these are questions you will see on the example. And just to be complete here, let some of you share with Scott what we discussed here about WIP limit. Let's ask Chris. Chris, go ahead. What about WIP limit and this chart? What does it say? Chris, are you able to unmute?
I'm here. I'm just looking at it and thinking. I would say that the idea, it looks like they're struggling to follow the WIP limit concept in the earlier weeks because their started category on the graph is fluctuating a lot. There's a lot of like growth in that area. It seems like they follow a little bit closer to the WIP limit concept in later weeks. I'd say starting like week 19 or so till the end is when they really start like following it. But for the most part, it doesn't seem like they're staying compliant with WIP limits.
That's great answer, Chris. Very well explained. This was a perfect answer, and I tried to write some of it. They started to follow it. It getting there is a lot of growth in that area, purple color band, but they do better toward the end. Well done, class. We did another one together. Some of the numbers we tweaked to make them different from what we had done before, but all in all, it was a great teamwork. I will again put this file along with the video on ReggieNet. So if you know your friends who are not here may be interested in going over some of the questions, this is going to be the list of questions on the exam, except for critical path analysis. We've done so many of that so far. Those of you who've been with me, I probably we did 4 or 5 together, including the small ones. I'll see you next week for the informal demos. But before that, tomorrow for the office hours or on Friday for the office hours, make sure you find me if you have any questions. Now, if there are questions, please ask me. I'm working on finalizing the guidelines, just telling you the number of questions in each category. But you know how my exams work. There are not so many surprises. The practice test is up there. These are the short answers plus the critical path analysis. Work on your practice test and these questions, and hopefully most of you will do well and get the grade that you are hoping to get. So any questions?